Greetings, blade fans. This old sword is back with you once again, and you may recognize the knife on the table in front of you from a review I did some time ago, maybe close to a year ago when this first came out. And this is the Reate EXO, designed by Exoskeleton Knives, and the reason it's in this kydex that they give you with it. Give you all sorts of methods of holding it because it is a gravity style knife. A very interesting one with a clamshell set up here where you raise the handle and the blade comes out. And this one is in the saber grind that I kind of liked out of the ones that I had available to me at the time from White Mountain. And it is in, I think I did say Elmax. Titanium handle, beautifully done. What else would you expect from Reate? The designer has chosen an excellent company and one that doesn't mind kind of lately going out on a limb with designs, you know, taking chances. This is very unconventional. Well, as many discovered, the only problem with this was no clip, and you couldn't safely carry it unless you found some sort of a leather scabbard or some way to carry it, similar to a balisong that doesn't have a latch. And similar to a balisong, it kind of uses gravity to open and close. Well, fast forward about a year, and we found that we had a new one, a Karambit, an EXO K, that came out, and it came out in this pair, which was really super cool because when do you ever see that from a manufacturer? And this has a unique action, and I do have a review out on this one. So we hold it in the hand. Don't often have room in front of the camera here to do my thing, but by pressing the button and dropping it out and closing it back, we now have a Karambit. And I did that rather awkwardly simply because I don't have room and I'm reaching around, and it's very odd and awkward. And that locks in place, okay? And the trainer, I'm not going to take it out, but that's the same. Got the holes in the blade to show you that it's a trainer. And that is a good idea. Might even be a good idea to have it with the EXO series, but now, move aside original, we now have the EXO M. I'm not sure M is for manual or M is for something, but it's the M2 because when this shorter version first came out, it was offered in 3V, change of steel for them. Most recently, the M2 is offered in, and there's the Dagger blade, beautiful. Offered again in Elmax, okay? So there you go, Elmax. Why did I get the Dagger? Because it makes so great use, so much great use of this configuration and this design. Completely enclosed, completely safe. There is your lock. A little bit of rattle, okay, I'm not worried about it. But when you lock it up like that, you now have a dagger that can be used point down or point up. Great crosshatch milling there. Super grippy, like a file, I would say. You ain't going to slide on that. And of course, you know, you can't put your thumb there on a double edge. This does come in a tanto, and I think also in the bayonet type grind like the original did. But we got some nice carbon fiber going on here, and they are using some fancier inserts I've seen as well. I was sort of toying with that, but they weren't available at that time at White Mountain. I decided to go with the carbon fiber, which is fancy enough for me under most circumstances. But there you've got a nice kind of a marbled carbon fiber. And there's the blade. And is it sharp? Might not be the question to ask of a very high grind dagger, but they did a pretty good job with it. Certainly it will pierce, won't it? Yeah. I think one edge is a little better than the other, yeah. Actually, the top edge seems to be a little better than the bottom edge. But like I say, a little bit of stropping, and you can improve any factory edge rather than redoing it completely right out of the box. But it's always a challenge with this, because if you're using a clamping system, you really don't have a whole lot to hold on to. You might get away with it with some of the newer systems from WorkSharp or Wicked Edge, or just do it by hand, you know, eyeball it if you're good at that. So anyway, we're going to do some measurements on this guy. It is a shorter blade. I was a little disappointed that they didn't offer this, and I don't know why they couldn't offer it in the full-size 3 3/4 inch that we had on the original. But that being said, we've got, if I measure to there, like 7.65, 7.6, get the whole thing in the camera for you. Blade is actually 3 1/4, okay? Not counting the edge, which is probably closer to 3 because you've got the sharpening choil. Nicely done on both sides. And of course, Reate, well, you know. And you notice that the plunge grinds have been angled so that it matches the front of the handle. That's a touch you don't often see on some knives. So yeah, I mean, there's that plunge grind coming back a little closer, almost to the handle, and they're up there coming back just about that line meeting the handle. Really great, great work. So we keep all my sharpening footage together. Millimeters, well, let's see, millimeters. Yeah, I'm going to grab it right in the center there. 2.7 millimeters, which is 0.11. A little difficult. 0.11. Handle thickness, a little on the chunky side, 0.54, but again, it has to house the mechanism. So similar to an OTF auto, you need to be able to get all the stuff inside the handle when it closes. 4.16. Relatively light, considering, and we're not going to disassemble it, but you can see that you've got your frame fairly thick there of the titanium frame. The sliding, and you got like that pebble there, pill, whatever you want to call it, that runs in the track. The edge, by the way, does not touch the track. You are not dulling the knife no matter how many times you slide it in and out, which is a great thing. When you're holding it, no rattle. If I lock it, and very little, I get no up and down rattle this way. I get a little bit of side-to-side rattle. You get that in an automatic too, you know, automatic OTF. So if I close it up, you get a fair amount of side-to-side rattle, and you get a little bit of up and down rattle. You need to have some tolerances in order for a blade to slide in and out of the handle. If it's so tight that it doesn't rattle, it's not going to reliably move back and forth. But mild grip, a little bit of side-to-side, a little bit of side-to-side chatter here. You're not going to eliminate that with a grip, but up and down, you get a little bit too. Yeah, a little more than I thought I would gripping it. Does it bother me? No. No more than it bothers me on even a $500 out the front knife, automatic knife. And these aren't cheap either. I think, well, rather than guess at the price, I think I'll just give you the links, of course, as I usually do. But we're in like the 250-ish range. So Reate's not a cheap knife. Premium materials, carbon fiber, titanium, Elmax. Look at that clip. Nicely done. With a single screw. Now some people have mentioned that they used a button head screw and not a flat one. But I think we've got a good rise to the clip there. And by the way, that clip's titanium too. So I got titanium handle. I'm getting just a little bit of attraction from the blade inside. Yep, there's the blade, obviously steel. That's the, interesting, getting some attraction there. Probably because that's the blade, the tang of the blade. Am I out of the frame? Sorry about that. Tang of the blade right there is in the open position. Get a little bit of attraction to it. As you move up here, nothing, because that's all titanium. The switch is titanium. Wow, and the screws are titanium. Hard to beat that, folks. That's what you're paying for. Titanium hardware. How about this pivot back here? Also titanium. Crazy. Yeah, that's Reate for you. Got a clip that's titanium, handle that's titanium, hardware that's titanium, and here, run-of-the-mill steel blade and Elmax, yeah, whatever. But feels good. I mean, flat, very neutral. You know, it's not completely symmetrical. You got that drop there. I think it's more of a style point, really. I don't know that it, yeah, I guess it helps a little bit, helps your flesh of your palm kind of go in there. Well, what if we get rid of the paper stuff if we can? Time for a sweep. Put it next to the original EXO. And there you have that. Next to the EXO K. All right, back out a little bit. Why don't we move them down? I don't feel like shifting camera angle mid-video. There you go. There they are all in the frame. The EXO K, the EXO M2, and the EXO. So they did solve the problem, I think, quite nicely of no lock and no clip. If we put it next to a Griptilian, Griptilian's going to be bigger by 3/4 of an inch maybe. And if we put it next to, yeah, why do I always do this, right? But anyway, there's the Reate one, and that's a good 1.5 inches longer overall. There's your blade coming in at about 3/4 of an inch longer. So yes, do I like it? Yes, absolutely. Especially in the double edge, where it's very versatile in terms of, you know, being able to cut, pulling in, pushing out, any grip. Just if you're in the habit of putting your thumb on the back of the blade, just be careful. That, folks, is the EXO M2 from Reate. Be well. Don't forget to give this vid a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much.